Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for June 6, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com, and to access her Zoom call, we'll scroll down. We're going to look for this Zoom banner here, and we're going to click through. If you'd like to be part of Cathy's SRC4u Daily Energy Clearing Group, the information to register is here. If you would like to see her latest tweets on Twitter, you can follow them here to her latest blog. We're going to click through. The Zoom call will be live, so you may want to lower the volume on your speakers. One moment, please.
Go into TucsonDowsers.com and sign up for their newsletter. Then you have access.
Got it.
But
What's the website?
Well, it's TucsonDowsers.com. And then hers, pardon? TUSCON, yeah.
Okay.
And then hers, I don't know if she's a .net or a .com or whatever she is, but if you just type in Court of Atonement.
She's a .com.
Yeah, okay. Oh, good. Thanks, Mary. That was phenomenal, wasn't it?
It was. She's really good.
Oh, my goodness. I will be adding that to my work. I'm going to give you an example today. Of course, I'm not talented at it. But as she said, just write it down. You don't have to be an expert.
Right.
And they tied in their dowsing, which, is always a good idea to get the age groups, perhaps, where there was trauma or the people or the places. So it was very good.
For anybody looking it up, it's TucsonDowsers.net. I was just
it is. Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me share some things that are kind of thought-provoking. First of all, we were working with emotions because emotions are so much a root source cause of so many what you call dis-eases. So I want to show you what we did for the group. On Friday, it was eyes. Saturday, it was infertility, which it was a 0, so we ran it. I hope it didn't get anybody in trouble there. Yesterday, it was fibromyalgia. This is just subtle energy, not diagnosing anything, but it's saying at the split stage our emotions were in on those days, that could have been what will result over the years. But then I want to share with you also an article I read that was about, and you guys may have already read it, but this was the fact that science has now confirmed that DNA, of course, is our most powerful point of energy in our body, and it's very influenced by our thoughts and intentions, and not just ours, but other people's as well. And what it does, that might sound like negative information, but it's actually positive, because then they opened up, and I've got these codes here, opens up why distance healing works. I'm not sure what non-operative healing is, but there was a code for it. Organ regeneration, extend the lifespan, etc. Some good codes that you could get from reading an article like that, but this is basically the essence of it. Human intentions could affect the winding and unwinding of the two strands that make up the DNA helix. So even if you think about the people who have gotten the vaccine and then they hear all this negative information, their own intentions regarding this could cause it. Does that make sense? Their own fear. And I had a lady that calls me all the time, and she's actually a very powerful energy worker herself, but she is always calling me to ask me to check if she has this or that disease. And I always tell her, look, this is not psychic. This is telling you what you resonate with. And if you're afraid of it, you resonate with it. And so today she actually got it. She said, oh. And, so again, we don't know about this vaccination. We've got some pretty compelling evidence. I certainly am not going to get it. But do we want to be pumping all this information into people about the next? I don't know. These are just thoughts. So look right here. Improve side effects of vaccination through state of mind. And then again, I'll just send this out, just a few things I cut and pasted from the article, and probably pull some codes up from it. But you can see some of these emotions that are harmful to life they're not going to help you with improving any side effects of the vaccine. The highest turned to be courage, and here were some other positive energy terms, and we could do codes for all of this. And then the highest energy is full consciousness or enlightenment. So, my word is still cooperating. So, and again, just a few more notes about all this, the 4 methods that you can use to work with the stress related to the spike proteins. So you'll have that if you're interested. And then we have a new cocktail I want to tell you, and it kind of ties in. We were talking before this started with the Court of Atonement webinar on Saturday, which I have to say was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm definitely going to incorporate it with my work. And sorry about that. But meanwhile, I want to show you, and we're not going to do this for the group. I don't think the group needs it. But I have a lady with tinnitus, and this has been, she's had it for 5 months. I just started working with her last week. She's a piano tuner. So not only is it driving her out of her mind, but she may have to lose her work because she can't hear to do it. So I started doing this cocktail, which I'll send you. And you've got quite a bit here, and it really can make you think. And it also can be used in reference to deafness, if you choose. But it's a long one. And then some shins and some gongs. And believe it or not, her biggest one, where did it go? There is something I no longer want to hear. 98% of the reason, according to that scan that day, for the tinnitus. So that was interesting. But anyway, then here's an example. This is what I wanted to get to. That you could, when you're working on someone like this, you could go ahead and write a Court of Atonement, or better yet, tell them about the website, let them go, do it, and write their own Court of Atonement. But I went into that encyclopedia. I don't think I have that right now. The encyclopedia of all the emotional causes. I found tinnitus, pulled a couple of those up, and here's an example of a Court of Atonement done by someone who doesn't really know exactly all the ins and outs of doing it. But you want to use your full name. So I, so-and-so, bring so-and-so, and the situation of tinnitus into a full Court of Atonement. I ask to analyze all timelines and resolve all conflicts at their point of origin, forgiving myself for reaching the level of stress that brought this incessant buzzing and ringing into my reality. I regain inner tranquility, but she's highly stressed, calling all the time, very, very upset, which makes it much worse, of course. I agree to recognize my inner voice and hear more consciously. I ask for a minimal dissolution of this energy, correcting any and all events that caused the need for this discord. So, and there's more. What they were doing, they had this guest on the dowsing circuit, and what she did is she would use her pendulum to douse for, like, what's the level of intensity, what's the level of, who were you with when they started, how old were you, etc. And then she would add that to her Court of Atonement. It was anybody else. I know Nancy, you were on there. I think Karen Barnett was on. It was good, wasn't it? Mary, of course. It was good.
Where's Ron?
I know. I saw him in the webinar, but I don't see him this morning.
I want to hear how things have been going for him.
I agree. Also, if anybody in here, there's a couple of people that are usually here I'm not seeing today. If anybody wants to be a test subject, I will tell you that I ran this, I did not do the Court of Atonement, but I ran that new cocktail all day yesterday. And the lady texted last night and said that she was better. The buzzing had greatly diminished. And you know, though, of course, with energy work, you never know really what did it. You just think the best.
I have some loss of hearing.
Hey, Steve. Pardon?
I have some loss of hearing.
Would you like to be a test subject?
Yes, please.
All right. Listen, did you make it on the webinar Saturday?
Yes, I was.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know they mentioned your name. They said you were having trouble getting on. It was something, wasn't it?
It was great. Yes.
Yeah, it really was. There's so much more, and that's so much more we can do with what we're doing already. It's very exciting. So,
if you buy any of her books, they're only $5 each.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's well worth it.
It really is. I had bought the first one some time ago and worked with it, and then got off track. But I'm not going to get off track again because there's such power to it. You could see that.
And obviously, the Court of Atonement, it renewed my interest in the mediator, so I ran right to that and did some work too.
Yes, that's a great idea to put it in. And I just had a thought too. Now my word may have now frozen. Let's see. No, we're still going. I'll be doggone. All right. This could take you back up here to this DNA thing we were talking about, that our intention actually shapes our DNA, and they can now prove that. So maybe that Court of Atonement, that may be a powerful number on intention as well. And the other thing I just want to share, I was reading something over the weekend. It was talking about working with a magnet and a little piece of iron. And it said, if you work long enough with the magnet, pretty soon that little piece of iron also becomes a magnet. However, when you stop, after a while, the little iron returns to not being a magnet. Now, I don't know if this is going to make sense to anybody or not, but what it said to me, we have to be consistent with our energy work. We can't just do it once in a while. That's why I started the group. That's really why I wish everybody had their own software, because we have such potential, but we've got to be consistent, not just with energy work, but with what we do for our eating and all that other stuff. But anyway, that I just wanted to share that, and this idea, and Ashida will make you our test subject and see what happens. And also, I want to go in here. I think I'm going to have to go to another. I went ahead and redid our startup scan over the weekend because it resonated to do that, and it was so, excuse me, it was way too long and time-consuming before. I think with these upgrades, we have a lot more powerful software here. I want to show you, and this I'll send it out as well. When you put your name or situation scan, you can go ahead and scan these things to see if you want to add anything. And we did not this morning. You can go in here, just type in primary situation and scan and see if it's a priority, and it wasn't for us. So at that point, I put this one. Infinite, allow only that which is for the highest and greatest good and well-being for all concerned, and then went ahead and did the optimization. Then also, these were a few things that just seemed to be pretty powerful. Optimal communication between consciousness and the physical body, increase in frequency, bless all electrical fields, remove all non-beneficial overlays on internet broadcast and transmute to 528 hertz. Same in reference to overlays on social media. Clear all unseen energy that does not have my best interests at heart. And integrate all 36 multi-dimensional chakras. Now, these all resonated as high priority to have in your startup. And probably that'll change from time to time. But, go ahead, I was putting them in here and then going up to the find options and scanning again. I like that Tesla 369, and let's see if any of those still need a little nudge. All right, so we want to clear all unseen energy that does not have best interests at heart. Let's go ahead and add that. That gives us our 3. Okay. And then you can check the priority. I already did the discarnate cocktail. We didn't want that, but we did want the scan. And you know, the scan has a lot of helpful information in it. Sometimes you can pull together your field generator. This was our scan. Let me make it a little larger here. And let me just see how far up it went first. Because it just takes, okay, so down to clear, number 40, clear addictive behavior. It takes forever to go into these one at a time. But this was our 0, and I went ahead and doused that one in. But what you can do then, I went in, I've been testing which of the Pro Tools we could just put this whole thing in and run. And today, you see, discarnate related stress. We take the QiGong panel, and I'm trying to get Grandmaster on to really go over this QiGong panel with us soon.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be incredible? And I have to tell you right now, I'm going to see maybe if we can get him on that day. I can't guarantee it. But let's go ahead now and go to the QiGong.
Do you mostly do the energies on here, or do you have a method?
A method for what?
Do you mostly do the core energies on this one?
Yeah, I do. I wish I knew more to do.
Yeah. I kind of
with core energies, that just covers. But yeah, really, this, I know this QiGong, you've got some phenomenal things you can do with it. So, and you can come back to that. I'm going to save it. And you see, we're mentioning addictive behaviors a couple of times, but you can go in here. We do have a full field generator scan also, but you can go in here as well. And there's quite a few. I'm just looking. Let's just look at this one, for example, and see the benefit of the field generator. That's not quite it. How about this no fear? No, so anyway, I'll play around with that and we'll get an idea. I'll put it in the notes, what we want. We may have to do a scan of the field generator stuff. I love this one, Protected by Infinite Love. Let's see how we do with that. No? Alright, so we'll just have to play around a little bit with this. But, and then finally, eliminate factors that can lead to disease cocktail. That was a priority to have in our startup. So again, you just want to look and test it and see, is it a priority today? Because the way they've got this updated, you've got, you know, just even the wonder click is powerful. So see, we don't need that. Let's see, do we need an emotion code scan? Nope. And do we need the startup scan? And you will have people that do want these things, but we're getting energy every day, so a lot of times ourselves, you see, we don't need it. So what we can do now is just go ahead. Let's see with what we've got in here. And we just want that good old wonder click, so let's hold our intention. All right, so deficient fluids, we see that quite a bit. Let's let the resistance peel away. By the way, when we finished the work we did yesterday, it ended on minerals, so there was a little stress. All right, did I put a good? I did, and I don't want that. Not bad. Muscles, metal element. This has been coming up for quite a few people. Basically, the way I interpret this, we're not having any fun. We need to perk up our life a little bit, have a new interest, some hobbies, etc., etc. At least that's how I look at it. A lot of heart chakra coming up too. And this particular day, the 666, I've read there's a lot of heart chakra healing going on, and this day could be a very positive day. It could go either way. Now you see the pericardium meridians, and pericardium comes up a lot. So once you're, used to what's in here, doesn't hurt to test pericardium cocktail.
What about the frequency? We had talked about that before briefly, that, we were led away from this frequency, and it's a very, very powerful, positive one.
Yeah. We're seeing, I know we've talked about this before, almost everything we've been taught is the opposite of what's true. And I was reading last week about the fact that the food industry, and this is a documented paper trail, the food industry knew from the very beginning that the things they were adding to our food would cause mental and physical disease. So it wasn't like, oh dear, this has happened. Of course, here we are now off the chart with diabetes and dementia and cancer, heart disease, etc. In 2021, I Googled it, the food industry made $885 billion. And the health industry, that was in the trillions. So I'm thinking about all this, and I got to thinking, one thing we've been taught is kind of hokey, is candle burning. At least I have, the way I grew up. That was like witch stuff. And I even went online and looked at different candles, and so many of them said candles to do spells. Well, I thought, the irony is we're all already under a bunch of spells. And it might actually be not so bad to burn a candle once in a while, because there's light. What was the first thing that was said in the Bible? Let there be light. And the color of the candle. So I did a little bit more Googling and learned that a blue candle, when lit, helps with health and well-being. And you can see this screencast. I did it, live on the Art of Spiritual Hygiene site, so that whatever it came up, that was just going to be it. So I added that image, and you know how impacted we are by images. And then I went in and tested benefit, 92% benefit. So there's all kinds of things that we don't know, that it might not hurt us to know, and it might not hurt to burn a few candles, and it might be interesting to even read up on what the early Christians were doing before they were a bunch of them tortured and killed for having results. So just some thoughts. You can do your own research on that. But there's so much that now in this age of awakening, we're taking a look at. And, they say if you can't take a look, that's an indication of heavy programming. So if there's a movie out and it's against what you believe and you refuse to look, that's what they say the evidence may be. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in the candle stuff. And what they say, right now we're still in the new moon. And we go till January 14th for the full moon. Now, once the full moon comes, then you would light one of the various colored candles. You need to let it run 7 days, by the way. and you would light it to release something. But I can't find my notes right now because I'm afraid I'll lose all my other stuff. But there were 2 colors that I saw we could burn for the betterment of mankind. So that's going to be my next experiment, is to put the images of those 2 candles. And pretty much you just have to send this to yourself, you know, unless you have permission. So I've just been sending it to myself. But, you know, each one of us, whatever change we make, that does spread out. And I can't recall the colors of the candles, but I'll post them in here. And it, to me, falls right in that category of what could it hurt. But anyway, crown chakra. Let's look at stress related to crown chakra. Okay, so that might be, again, a time to get out the frankincense essential oil and put it on the top of your head each night. You know, the Gong is a powerful way to work with it. Please. And by the way, Kevin is fine. He's just had a really heavy schedule. So I know a couple of you are worried about him, but he is fine. He's just been overloaded with work.
Thanks for letting us know, Cathy.
Yeah, I thank you. I meant to let you know before and didn't do it. Okay, so we've got, and with this stuff, you can always go in. You know what you've got with your tools. For example, let's just see, do we want to recharge your balance all organs? Because we saw that, and we may not need to. The P4 may be doing it all. First, I guess we could just do the whole thing. Do we need the recharger at all? No, not really. We don't need it today. How about yes therapy? Nope. Same thing with glands. You can check. I'll do that a little later. You can see how often this pericardium comes up, which is, among other things, relationships. Also, our anti-aging and geriatric issues has been coming up a lot, so we're going to want to look at that. There's aura systems. Let's just quickly. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what? Go ahead.
What do you think about the prayer warrior?
I think the prayer warrior is phenomenal. Kevin said, though, we should only run 1 panel at a time. I usually have 2 or 3 going. And the only reason I don't show the prayer warrior is that I've got so many names in there and you can see them. And I just don't want to do that. But yeah, you could easily, let's just put that down.
As far as the number of panels, does that limit them by the number of people you're working on? Or
Well, what Kevin said is it's such a powerful program. Let's say you go in here to your Pro Tools and you bring 1 prayer warrior up, and it's going to have 5 or 6 approaches. And then you run out of, little spots, so you bring another and then another. If you pull up too many, it will slow down everything else. So but for example, yeah, you want to, let's see, balance all plans, get prayer warrior.
Cathy, are you talking it's very powerful that it slows your computer down?
Yes, and the SRC program, according to what Kevin was explaining.
Right, okay.
But yeah, definitely you want to check it as well, because, and the mediator, I love what Nancy said. Now that we are familiar with that Court of Atonement, that's a phenomenal thing to run in the mediator. So there's a lot we can do with all this.
Is there a cocktail for that? I've never used one for mediator.
I just write them up as they go. I don't I don't personally have a cocktail. But you can go in, for example, at least what you can do, for example, here's a real powerful cocktail we have in here. Transmute and remove. And then you can just do via mediator. And just go through and look at some of these, because when it comes right down to it, and we don't need that when you see, it's us doing the creating. So I wouldn't see any, so you could go in here, for example, balance, crown chakra, the mediator. In other words, do we want to, on a very deep subconscious level? Now, see, again, we don't need that, but weight loss, for example, look at the people, I'm one of them, that have spent a fortune on various weight loss programs, but they never worked, or if they did work, we gained it right back. So the mediator's great for things like that. Well, you see, we're going down quite a few levels. Then there's that dry coming up, so the theme, we all need more water, good water. But this is all subtle.
Thanks, Cathy.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.